October. It's over, and I'm what in the white as a ghost, apparently. Jeez, the sun is strong. Hello everyone, it's Veronica and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my October wrap-up, and I actually read a lot for October. I think mainly through like audiobooks and ebooks because it was very difficult to read physical books, especially now that I'm a senior and I'm also in a program in my school. So we are doing a lot of work for the program, so it's kind of difficult to keep up with my reading, but I think I did pretty well, honestly. We're gonna go alphabetically though, down the list of what I read, and because it's by author, so it's on my Notion list. It was great. I had a fantastic time, and it was a good month. This month was fantastic, and I had a fantastic month. I'm gonna start with the physical books, I guess. I didn't read a lot, I must say. I read three physical books with like audiobooks and ebooks as well, just because I knew I was too busy to really read physical books and I was too tired at night to read physically. It happens, you know? The first book that I read was Of Curses and Kisses by Sandhya Menon. This was my Asians Under a Typhoon book club book, and it was a fantastic live show. I had a fantastic time. If you guys want to go check it out, it will be down in the description box below the live show, of course. And I gave this 4 stars. I think I really enjoyed it. I would say I really enjoyed this. It was fantastic. I think what was nice was that it's also a Beauty and the Beast retelling, if you guys didn't know. And I enjoy retellings. I think they're super cute, and it's also very interesting to see kind of the style that authors will go for the retelling. I enjoyed Of Curses and Kisses, and I'm actually really excited for book 2. Yikes! The next book that I read, finished, guys, I finished, was A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. Wow! I'm not even going to joke about this. I've been reading this since September, and I don't know when I finished this. I probably finished this around October 20th. October 18th, I believe, because that was my fall break. That was when it ended, at least. And goodness, why did this take me so long? Oh my gosh. But this seriously took me forever. Like, genuinely forever. And I was like, this was definitely heart-wrenching. Oh my god, it like took a lot of my soul out of me, because it was like, oh, you know, like, you are warned that there are trigger warnings and you need to follow them, because there's so many trigger warnings. Like, if you're not careful, they can just spring up on you and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I knew that this book had a lot of heavy topics. It was heavy. Like, there was not 1 ounce of it that was like, yeah, fun, light stuff. There were a few fun parts. Few. So little. It's also like 800 pages, so is it? No, it's 700 pages. So it was a very heavy book, and the fact that there were so many heartbreaking things, like with Jude and with Malcolm, with Willem and JB, it's like, oh my god, it really took a lot out of me. So, but it was good. I gave it 4 stars. And I think that it's a good book, but I probably would not read this again, just because of how hard it really took things out of me. The next book that I read was something for my school, I guess. It's for my research topic. I read So You Want to Talk About Race by Ijeoma Oluo, and I did not rate this, just because, you know, this is an informational book. I usually don't rate books I read for school or that I get information out of, references out of, so I didn't rate this, but it was all I've got to say is that it helped my research paper a lot. It's helping me, actually, not helped. It's still happening, and it was very informative, very useful, so yeah. And that's it for my physical books. Like I said, literally 0 time at all. Spooky month. Yeah, that, yo, the sun, it's powering. Ooh. I didn't read a lot of spooky books. I tried, but it kind of happened and it kind of didn't happen, you know? Like, I tried to make it happen. In my opinion, I'm not very fit for spooky books. Yeah, I don't put myself and, like, I just don't try. The first book, though, that I read was The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. I DNF'd this book. I really did want to like this. I really did. But then it was just, like, dragging. I listened to the audiobook, by the way. It was dragging. What in the world was I even listening to be honest? She was agoraphobic, which is like where you have a fear of going places, going outside, so they like stay home a lot or all the time. Like, yeah, it had a few things that I was like, oh, interesting, but the "oh, interesting" didn't capture my attention that much at all throughout the book. I was just listening to it. There was no interest, there was no intrigue, there was no fascination for this book. I was just listening to it, like casual audio, if you will. In my opinion, it was not great. I didn't like it very much. But if you enjoyed The Woman in the Window, please do tell me down below, because you know what, maybe it was just me. The next book that I read was A Tuscan Memory by Angela Petch, and I gave this 4 stars. Thank you to NetGalley for providing me an arc. I have a blog review on it, so I will link that down below. And I enjoyed this. It's a historical fiction, historical romance kind of thing. This boy tries to find out his family's past, his family history. But to be honest, it was too early in the month that I kind of don't remember what it was about. But I know that I did enjoy it. It was very interesting. I really love historical fiction, so this was pretty good, and I enjoyed it, I think. The next book, trilogy, was oh god. This was through Audible Escape, and it is the Krinar Chronicles by Anna Zaires. I don't know how to say that. But the first book was Close Liaisons. I gave Close Liaisons 3 stars. It was our main character, Kumar. Something. I think it starts with a K. It starts with a K. What's his name? Oh my god, it's on my Twitter thread. Coram! So, Coram, our hero, our alien hero, was very alpha, very, very alpha in this book. Like, yeah, you're an alien, but you can also have, you know, like, take it down a notch, okay, bud? You know, and Mia, oh my god, Mia, in this book, book 1, she was on my nerves, like, the whole time. She was just so innocent, so pure, and kind of annoying in that way. Like, yes, you can be pure and innocent and still be a strong female character, main character, but she really annoyed me. She knew how to annoy me. Then I was like reading Goodreads reviews, and I was like reading through it, right? And people were saying, guys, don't worry, book 2 and 3 are so much better. And yes, I have to agree. Book 2, I gave 4 stars, and that was Close Obsessions. This one, I much preferred it. Like, yeah, it is about aliens. It was about alien romance. It's an alien sci-fi romance, and yes, it's still a weird thing to me. I don't read this often, or ever, to be honest. Although one more coming. Just hold on a bit. Like, and I enjoyed this so much better than book 1. I also enjoyed book 3, the last one, Close Remembrance. I think just the fact that Close Liaisons didn't have much of a plot. And then Close Obsessions, here we go. This is where they're like, I love you, you love me. Let's get together, you know? And then I was like, and then the plot thickened, literally. It built up so much. And then I was like, okay, there you go. That's what I needed. Thank you. And I really, actually, I did enjoy Close Obsessions and Close Remembrance. They were much better than book 1 by far. The next one, and this one comes to it's shocking to you. It's also shocking to me. There's this person on Twitter who told me about this book, about this part. It's also an alien romance, and it's called Aliens Primal Bond by Aya Morningstar. Yeah, what a name. I gave this 2 stars, I think, or even 1 star. 2 stars, generously, probably. The plot didn't exist. Yeah, their books have plots, but the plot was so bad it might as well not have existed, to be honest. Aliens Primal Bond, which is book 1 of The Fated Mate of Apara, which is book 1. You know what? What can I say? It wasn't great. And it's something that I have slight regrets on. Add my Goodreads down below. You guys can check it out. Okay, let's move on. The next series that I read was the Elements series by Brittainy C. Cherry, and I read this through Audible Escape, and I very much enjoyed it. Brittainy C. Cherry, like, wow, can she stop, like, doing this to my heart? I gave the first book, The Air He Breathes, 5 stars, which is amazing, by the way. That 5 stars, it's like, you've got me. The romance, by the way, was amazing. It was strong. The plot as well was great, and the fact that Brittainy C. Cherry knows how to write such emotional, heart-wrenching books, wow, she really captured my attention through all these books. There He Breathes is, did I forget it? I most certainly did. It's about Elizabeth and Tristan, and they Tristan and Elizabeth both have a tragic past. Elizabeth is a single mother. Tristan had a heartbreaking past that is better explained, and I don't want to spoil it just because I don't think it's in the synopsis, and I'm afraid that if it's not in the synopsis, you know, I'll spoil it, and I don't want that. The second book of the series was The Fire Between High and Low. Hello friends, I am back. Yeah, I'm back. Welcome. Whew. I got cut off because my camera died, and I only have 1 battery, a singular battery. I left off, I believe, at Brittainy C. Cherry, and I think I was getting to The Fire Between High and Low. That's book 2 of the Element series. I rated this 4 stars. It was good. I did enjoy it. Nothing to fully complain about because, you know, it wasn't bad, it wasn't terrible, but I didn't love it as much. I think the situation and the hard topic of the story was definitely a key factor as to why I enjoyed it, but definitely it wasn't, probably would not be something I would reread. Unlike The Air He Breathes, I would probably reread that again. So yeah, I definitely did enjoy High and Low. I forgot their names, because it's what I do. I forget names. I constantly am forgetting names. Logan and Alyssa. They were really cute. So High is Alyssa and Low is Logan. It's obviously Logan, right? I really did like their romance. It's a friends to lovers, and I thought it was really cute because it's friends to lovers and second chance romance, and I did enjoy it just because I think that they were their chemistry when they were high school students to when they were older, they met when they were in high school, and they were just nice. So the next book I obviously read was the third book, The Silent Waters, and I think I really did enjoy this one. This one is about a girl named Maggie May, there's a situation that happens when she was younger, which forces her to stay silent, mute, and pushes her to be afraid to go outside, so she's agoraphobic. And she has a best friend, her brother's best friend, her stepbrother's best friend, Brooks. They were perfect. Brooks was pretty much her best friend, so it's also another best friends to lovers situation. And I really did enjoy this one. Just the way it kind of happened, the fact that they both loved each other, they tried to fight it off when they were older, everything just came so smoothly together. They were perfect for each other. Brooks stayed with Maggie May throughout the whole thing. He didn't care that she was mute, Maggie May was mute or agoraphobic, but Brooks continuously stayed by her side, and I really liked that. I think that was something I really enjoyed about Brooks as our hero. And Maggie May, she was really sweet, and when she finally found her voice again, I thought it was perfect. And the situation as to why she rose up again, I really liked that as well, which you would obviously find further down the line, and I'm not going to spoil about why she spoke up, but obviously, she's gonna speak up anyways. But I don't know, for some reason, Brittainy C. Cherry, I think she really caught my attention by this moment, because book 4, I also gave 5 stars. The next book is The Gravity of Us. The 2 books I really liked was Silent Waters and The Gravity of Us. The Gravity of Us, Graham, he's an author, and everybody thinks he's pretty much stone cold-hearted, and Lucy, there's Lucille, Lucy for short. Graham and Lucy, they come together because Graham, there's a situation that forces her to pretty much be close to him, and then they slowly fall in love. It was kind of slow burn. It is slow burn, and I thought the way they came together, the way they helped each other, was simply perfect. The situation as to why they came together was so heartbreaking, but then whenever they were around each other, you could tell that they were like clicking instantly. This was probably my favorite, even out of Silent Waters. I enjoyed Silent Waters. I loved that book as well, but The Gravity of Us was by far my favorite out of the entire series. It's just amazing, and the writing, I think, was also amazing, just because if you see the synopsis, he basically doesn't feel a single thing. He's pretty much emotionless. And Lucy, she feels so much. And the way they're like total opposites, feeling nothing to feeling everything. And they came together, and it was simply amazing. And this was my favorite. This definitely was my favorite. The next book I read was Creatures by Chrissy Van Meter, and I DNF'd this book. I was grateful enough to receive an ARC from NetGalley as well as Algonquin Young Readers. I was on their blog tour, but I DNF'd this book. It was not something I would ever read ever again, not something that I really enjoyed much or at all. It's not something I regret DNFing. I probably would never pick it up ever again. The next book I read was Foreshadow by Emily X.R. Pan and Nova Ren Suma. This was also a blog tour, so thank you NetGalley and Algonquin Young Readers, I believe, for the ARC. I did enjoy this. It's a compilation of short stories written by multiple authors, and there were definitely a few that I kind of despised. I was so close to DNFing, but there were a lot where I did actually enjoy. So I actually gave Foreshadow 4 stars for the ones that I enjoy, because you know what, there were some that were not suited for me, but that does not mean that, you have to hate it, because each short story was a different genre, a different kind of prompt. And so I actually did enjoy some of it. The next book I read was Riker by Gary Glenn, and I gave this 2 stars. I got this for free on Amazon. This is part of the Kings of Corruption Motorcycle Club, or whatever the C means, MC. It's book 1, and I used to actually enjoy my motorcycle club books, but that was, I think, 100% when I was younger. Now I don't really enjoy them anymore. I think they're so alpha. you know, they're too alpha. You can be alpha, but you have to have a different side. And Riker, throughout the whole story, was just completely too alpha for me. I did enjoy our main character. I don't know her name. I think her name is Mia or something. Charlotte, I did enjoy. I think she was pretty good as a main character, main heroine. She kind of changed throughout the story, but Riker, I swear, stayed the same. His attitude, the same. His behavior, the same. Alpha, same. But Charlotte at least changed throughout the book, and I did enjoy that. However, I gave it 2 because, you know what, I just, motorcycle club books are not my thing anymore. The next book that I read was Bitter Rivals by J. Sterling, and I read this through Audible Escape, and I gave this 4 stars, I believe. Let me check. 4 stars indeed. This is an enemies to lovers. They lived side by side. They're rival wine makers. Yes, their families are rivals, and I'm saying they because I forgot their names, per usual. Their families have been wine rivals, vineyard rivals, you know, let's just say vineyard rivals for now. And so the problem is they are attracted to each other because you can't fight attraction. They're attracted to each other, but their families straight up hate each other. It is a Romeo and Juliet situation. Then they find a way to make it work. I actually enjoyed this. I enjoyed listening to the wine talk, the talk about wine. And I think it was pretty interesting because I don't really see a lot of books about wine or vineyards. It was pretty interesting to read. I really did. I think they were simply pretty cute, and I think I gave this 4 stars because I really liked the narrator. Whoever this narrator is, I think just straight up got my attention. Hold on, J. Sterling. Here we go. Goodreads coming in hot. Teddy Hamilton. There it is. Teddy Hamilton's narration straight up gets me. I don't know why. I've been absolutely loving almost so many of Teddy Hamilton's narrated books. Anyway, I actually did enjoy Bitter Rivals. I think the enemies to lovers, it's one of my favorite tropes. And I enjoyed it. Can't say anything else. I like enemies to lovers. That's it. The next book I read was Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. I gave Nothing to See Here 3 stars. I did enjoy the plot. I think it was very interesting dealing with fire children, but I think the characters could have been a little more developed. It was kind of boring talk a few times here and there. I did like the plot in general. I like that this is the first time I'm hearing about fire children. You never really hear that unless it's like some deep fantasy, you're in a different world or things like that. But this was on Earth. This was in Tennessee as well. So kind of hearing the real life, but then the fantasy aspect of fire children was very interesting. That's why I gave it 3, but I think it could have been a little better, in my opinion, so I just gave it 3. The next book I read was Bellhammers by Lancelot Schobert. I DNF this book. I got this from Book Sirens, so thank you, Book Sirens, for giving me an ARC. Actually, Lancelot also sent me an email to check out his book, and so I did check it out, and I didn't like it. It was not my style. To be honest, it was a humor kind of book, and I didn't like it. It's not my style. On Goodreads, it has a pretty high rating, so if you check it out, maybe you'll enjoy it. But it just wasn't for me. I don't even remember what it's about, and I'm okay with not remembering what it's about at all. So, you know, it's fine. The next book I read was Two Faces of Exclusion by Kurashige. This is something I did not rate because it was part of my research paper, my research project, my research study. So I didn't rate this. It was informal. It helped me understand a few things for my research, but that's why I didn't rate it. I usually don't, as I mentioned with So You Want to Talk About Race. The next book I read was The Bromance Book Club by Lyssa K. Adams, and I straight up love this series. It's so good. I gave The Bromance Book Club book 1. It's book 1. The Bromance Book Club. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's about a married couple having problems. Did I forget their name? Yes, I did. They're kind of having trouble with their marriage, and so our main hero is recruited into the Bromance book club, and the Bromance book club try to help him save his marriage. And I found that really cute. It's still pretty much read like a new romance novel, a new couple, and I really liked that, you know, like they were trying to save their marriage and then they fell in love again, and I enjoyed it. You know, it was great, and I would recommend you guys read it. I also read book 2, which is Undercover Bromance, and this one was by far my favorite out of the whole series. I gave this 5 stars. I think is his name Malcolm? I'm wrong, aren't I? Braden Mack. So everybody calls him Mac, and he basically, he's just the best. I think he's, out of the whole book, he's probably one of the best characters besides the Russian. The Russian is by far hilarious. He's just beyond hilarious. But Mac, he's really great. He's really committed to the Bromance book club, and he's trying to help Liv, his heroine, find something out. You'll find more out throughout the book, and I think the way they work together was really well. The chemistry, the build up, it's what I'm here for. I really enjoyed it. We're gonna move on to book 3 now. I also read Crazy Stupid Bromance, which came out on the 27th. I got an arc for this though from NetGalley, so thank you NetGalley. I loved this. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I think honestly I'm really glad that I got the arc for this, just because it was great. And I really have nothing to say, and I'm really excited for her book 4, which is Isn't It Bromantic? And I think it's about the Russian, and I'm really excited. Let's move on to Mariana Zapata, probably my new favorite author. One of my new favorite authors. So the first book that I want to mention is From Lukov with Love. I gave this 5 stars. It's probably my favorite now. It's one of my favorite Mariana Zapata books. It was so good. I don't know what it was about. I think it's just the enemies to lovers and the fact that they had to work together. They had to partner up. And seriously, this is pretty much Spinning Out 100%. Like Spinning Out could have been inspired by From Lukov with Love. You know, I gave this 5 stars with 0 regret. I enjoyed it. I was probably smiling like a weirdo the whole time I was reading it. I very much enjoyed From Lukov with Love. I think it was just the fact that it's figure skating, and I don't know a lot about figure skating. This is probably my first figure skating book that I've ever read, and I really enjoyed it, and it really reminded me of Spinning Out when I watched it when it came out on Netflix, and I want to reread too, but I want to rewatch the show. It is a best friend's brother situation. They've known each other for years. He is the best at what he does. He's amazing at figure skating, and she straight up hates him because he's just that good, and he's just that amazing and very handsome, and you know what? He is just great. I also read The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. I gave this book 4 stars. This was the very first Mariana Zapata book I ever read, first one, and I did enjoy it. It's an ex-boss relationship. She quits. Yet again, forgot her name, sorry. She pretty much quits because she used to work for a football player, kind of like an assistant. I really enjoyed it. I loved the fact that even though, I hate forgetting names, even though our heroine absolutely despised our hero, she came to love him at the end, of course. And I thought their build up from the hate to love was super cute, and I really enjoyed it. And I think the fact that pretty much he had to prove himself to her, I think it kind of made everything better, if that makes sense. And I really did enjoy their romance. The next book I read was Culti, and it is part of my end of the month reading vlog for October, and I finished it last night. I gave Culti 5 stars. this is probably one of my favorite ones for Mariana Zapata. I love soccer. I used to be on the soccer team. I really enjoyed it, and I loved the fact that Culti was Sal's inspiration, and I'm remembering their names because it was yesterday only. Culti was Sal's inspiration, and then it's just the build up, you know, it was like a hate to love. I really did enjoy it. It was my favorite. I absolutely loved Culti. Culti, he's just the best hero in my opinion. He's my favorite, absolutely. The next book that I read was The Deep by Nick Cutter. You know what, this was spooky month, and The Deep was my last spooky book I read. I listened to the audiobook and I regret that. I do wish I read it physically or on through ebook, because the sounds that the narrator made were so scary. Like, I had to take like a freaking cleanse after that book. That's why I only pretty much read 2 horror thriller kind of stories this month, was precisely because of The Deep by Nick Cutter. It was so scary. I could not handle myself. I do want to try read more horror. I do want to continue discovering more horror. The next book I read was Wish You Were Here by Renee Carlino. I gave this 4 stars, but I actually really enjoyed this. I also read this through Audible Escape. I actually really enjoyed this one, surprisingly more than I thought. It's just been kind of running into my head, the story, and to be honest, I'm interested in rereading it. The first time I read it, I didn't really agree with our main character. Her actions, it was just kind of dumb, to be honest. She kind of just annoyed me a little bit with her first relationship. Her second relationship I did enjoy more than her first, but then the story, I don't know why it kept kind of running through my head, making me remember it after reading it. But in general, I give it 4 stars. I'm interested in looking at maybe rereading it. We'll see how that works. But I actually enjoyed it, surprisingly more so than I thought. The next book that I read was Mason by S.J. McCoy. This also was a free Amazon book at the time. I really don't know if they're still free or not. I gave Mason 3 stars. I liked Mason just because it was cowboy-y-esque thing. Very country. It's a second chance romance. I love second chance. Some actions were pretty dumb in the part of our heroine, Gina. Gina was kind of dumb. Her actions, like, girl, come on. Oh my god. Anyway, but I gave it 3 stars. I found it pretty interesting, pretty average, interesting. Nothing that I would love or reread again, but good. I kind of enjoyed it. I'm not saying I hated it. It was not great, but it was not bad either. And then I also read When Harry Met Harry by Sydney Smith. I gave this 3 stars. Why again did I give this 3 stars? I don't actually. Let's go to Goodreads. I trust Goodreads more than myself and my brain. This was pretty much When Harry Met Sally. If you guys don't know the movie, it's a classic movie. Yet again, Teddy Hamilton narrating this book. What did I tell you guys? Obviously, I loved Teddy Hamilton. His narration was Harrison's point of view, but whenever he narrated Henry, our second Harry, it was great. I love his voice. I really enjoy Teddy Hamilton's narrations and the books he narrates. It's fantastic. This also has Asian representation. I gave this 3 stars. It was not my favorite. Probably wouldn't ever listen to it again or get the ebook or physical, but it was nice. Last but not least, I read the Ravenswood trilogy series by Talia Hibbert. The first book is A Girl Like Her, and I gave it 4 stars. I gave the whole series actually 4 stars. All 3 books. The first book, A Girl Like Her, is about a girl named Ruth Kaba, and she falls in love with a man named Evan. And I'm really talking slow because I'm trying to actually remember their names this time. So unlike me, don't you think? But I really enjoyed it. She's kind of an agoraphobic, but she isn't. She can go outside, but she's pretty much the social pariah. I think you guys know what I mean. I know the meaning, I just can't say it apparently. But she's kind of an outcast to the small town people. And you know, small towns, they seem to have the main gossip clique group, so they all hate her because of a situation that, as per usual, do they understand? No, they don't. I really enjoyed their romance. Evan, gosh, wow, what a man. I really enjoyed him, his part, and I think the chemistry between Ruth and Evan, they were really great together. And Evan was so caring for Ruth throughout the whole book. So the next two books, the second and third book, are Untouchable and That Kind of Guy. And I, of course, gave all three books 4 stars. Yep. And I read these through my end of the month reading vlog for October. I really enjoyed Untouchable just because it's between Nate Davis, and Hannah Kaba, Ruth's older sister, I believe. And basically Hannah kind of nannies for Nate's 2 young children, Beth and Josh, a J name basically. Hannah did have feelings for Nate in the past, but then she's just trying to repel that feeling because, you know, technically he's her boss. So I thought it was really cute because just that they're trying so hard not to fall in love with each other, but in the end, you know, can't help it. Can't help feelings. Am I right? Book 3 is That Kind of Guy, and this is Nate's brother Zach, younger brother Zach, and a new girl, Ray. I thought it was super cute because it's a fake dating kind of situation. Ray is an author, and she was invited to an awards ceremony, and her ex is going to be there with his new wife. And so because her ex's new wife is really pretty, she obviously wants to bring someone even prettier, like Zach. I think they definitely had previous chemistry with each other, so being with this fake dating kind of forced them to really realize that they have feelings for each other, and that, you know, this convention, this award ceremony could potentially push them to become even more. I really enjoyed this and found myself absolutely loving it. I love fake dating tropes. They're so good to read, and I really enjoyed it. And also, That Kind of Guy is an age gap romance. And this time Ray, our heroine, is the older one, and I really enjoyed that because usually it just always happens to be the guy that's older. And that is it, guys. Yeah, Notion says I read 33 books, but I have to say majority of these are audiobooks. That's why I got to 33. Majority of these books are audiobooks. I have so it's audiobooks, ebooks, and then I only read 3 physical books, or barely even 3, just because I did, for some of them, read the ebook or listen to the audiobook. Did you guys read any of these books? Are you guys going to miss Audible Escape if you had Audible Escape? Because I certainly am. I wish I used Audible Escape sooner, and to be honest, I have some regrets, but also I had a ton of fun kind of listening to all these audiobooks, especially Mariana Zapata. What a just fantastic time. So did you guys enjoy this video? Please comment that down below. Do you guys read any of these books? Do you guys like them? Did you hate them? I actually do want to hear that down below, so comment that down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I post new booktube videos every week, so I will see you guys next week. Bye!